What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock and what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to break down what the news, data, and technicals are telling us about the overall market in NIO, what you should be watching for going forward, and also why tomorrow is going to be a very, very big day as we have Tesla's earnings coming out very soon. The big call is about to start in a couple of hours, and that is going to affect how the market moves for tomorrow. We also have other earnings coming out and some very important initial jobless claims data that will affect how the market moves, and all of this will affect how NIO moves as well. But before I break anything down about NIO, before I give you guys my price prediction or anything like that, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Make sure you take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, whether it's $1 or $100, it's up to you. You're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $3,000. And the best part is, any could be a free Tesla share. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just 5 days, so check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. NIO was down 7.18% for the day. In my previous video, I predicted that NIO would likely see some downside after the news that came out about NIO not being willing to raise prices, and also because of the bearish technicals developing on the share price. And as of right now, that is what happened. But the real question is, could NIO get a bounce, or is NIO going to continue to tank? Well, in essence, the momentum is favoring the bears right now. Downside seems more likely for NIO to continue, but it is also going to be impacted by Tesla, the earnings coming out, and some big data. So I want to start off by discussing that first and then break down how it may affect NIO. So for right now, we have Tesla and IBM reporting earnings. IBM has been doing very well. They actually excuse me, sorry guys, they actually beat on almost everything. But Tesla, they actually came a little short on EPS just by like 1 cent, and their revenue was overall just a tiny bit short. Once again, not too bad from Tesla. What matters more though is going to be the call. How does Tesla do during the earnings call? Is Tesla gonna do well? Is Tesla gonna make some big announcements? All of that will impact what happens to the share price for tomorrow for Tesla. If Tesla does super well and blows us away with some big announcements, if they maintain some very high expectations and the share price actually rallies, that could actually help NIO and the collective markets. But if Tesla fails to do so, if Tesla ends up just, they just announced that there are some concerns for deliveries and things like that, and it just continues to tank, that's going to cause the collective market to slow down as well, especially NIO. Now for Thursday, I just want to note that AT&T, Nokia, Rite Aid, American Express are all reporting earnings. Make sure you are ready for this just in case. As far as NIO goes, just want to note that NIO says that it's not going to be joining the price war and slash prices like Tesla. As a result, this actually caused some downside for NIO. And then finally, we have initial jobless claims coming out for tomorrow, and this is going to be very important. If this is actually lower than expected at 240,000, we're going to see the market drop a bit. But if this is higher than expected, the market is likely going to like it. Now, as far as NIO goes compared to the market, the price price ratio is likely going to drop as NIO is underperforming. It's actually dropping to a very low level. And also, lots of banks now from I'm actually seeing some new data. Mizuho, Barclays are saying that NIO is going to either perform like the market or actually a little bit under. So very mixed signals, but Mizuho is saying to buy NIO right now compared to JP Morgan. So there's a bit of a difference. For Thursdays, NIO tends to be green only 51% of the time. So we'll see how tomorrow goes because of that. And as far as the shorting goes, we did see an increase in shorting just 2 days ago with over 5.7 million NIO shares shorted compared to over 6.6 million just a couple of days ago. So shorts are piling into NIO again. We're selling on very high volume. There's a lot of selling going on, 60 plus million in volume. And that's despite the fact that NIO was at the Shanghai Auto Show. And once again, this is kind of like a buy the rumor, sell the news event, where as we approach the big event, NIO was holding up. Now that this actually came out with a new SUV, NIO is selling off. That is what tends to happen during big events like this with lots of hype, and it's likely going to continue on this trend. So what do I see for NIO? Well, looking at SPY first, this thing is still showing strength. It's not necessarily tanking as of right now, but it is trying to trade a little bit more sideways. It could break out if Tesla does very well during earnings and we get stronger earnings. We could have a little bit more upside to go, try to get to like 418 to 420. But because of the fact that when you zoom out and look at the negative divergence, it is likely going to tank either way. So, I mean, it could tank from here if Tesla does very bad during earnings. It could tank, or we could pump a little bit more to 418 to 420 around that area, and then we tank. It's got to be one of those two most likely. All right, that's what I'm seeing for SPY. For the QQQ, it's basically the same. The VIX, compared to the SPY, by the way, is very low in the 16s. It's still downtrending, but it is looking like it's trying to stabilize the more it drops. But for the QQQ, if this thing rallies, if Tesla does super well, we could see this thing get back to 320. If we do horrible, this thing is going to start dropping and retesting the 50 EMA at 317, 316, followed by 313 if we actually break below it. And that's where this gap fill down here is. It does look like the market's slowing down, but once again, we have to wait and see how earnings goes for Tesla. And until then, just remain calm, cool, and collected. We do have a possible bullish divergence that actually formed here, as we did make a higher low, but the RSI, I think it may have made a lower low. I'll have to double check that. But anyways, the bottom line is we just have to be very patient during a time like this, right? We could keep going, but it depends on Tesla's earnings. And as far as Tesla goes, this thing's down almost 4% so far. That's because they missed on EPS and revenue by a little bit. Just a tiny bit. It's very, very minor. It was barely by like 1 cent on EPS. So if Tesla reverses, this could actually help NIO. If not, that will affect us too. But from a technical standpoint, NIO is still looking more bearish. It's actually selling off pretty hard. MACD looks bearish. We do not have any divergence that formed here. So if NIO continues to drop, make sure you watch 8.5 and then 8. I believe it was 8.33 was the next important level. If we're bullish, watch for a retest of $9. If it breaks above that, we have the potential to retest 9.17, then a gap fill even higher. But I find that unlikely. It looks more like the momentum is more in favor of the bears. Maybe we bounce a little bit tomorrow and then we start to continue to sell off to 8.5. But I do believe some buyers will step in around there. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing for tomorrow. Remember, it's also going to depend on Tesla's earnings and also the data that comes out tomorrow from initial jobless claims. We also have some Fed speakers. I forgot to mention this. Fed speakers are going to be coming tomorrow as well. The market does tend to drop when they speak. We'll see how this goes. The odds are favoring some downside for NIO for tomorrow, so make sure you're ready. The last thing I have is to make sure you check out the merch I have down below, either above or below in the comments section. If you want to buy a shirt or tank top that says Eat, Sleep, Trade, Repeat, to the moon, some NIO merch, if you guys are interested, it's really your choice, but I would really appreciate it if you guys did end up just checking it out. I have the code SAVE5 to save 5% on your order. And with that said, thank you all for listening. NIO to the moon. The long term is still very bright, and peace out.